As men, we do not speak about our problems. At some point in time, you believe that story. Staying silent was part of being a man. But over time, that silence became too heavy of a burden to carry. Maybe it has been years that you have been suppressing your thoughts, fears, and frustrations. But it made sense because it protected you from your environment. But now that protection feels like suffocation because a pressure has been building. And if left unchecked, one day you can explode and destroy everything around you, or you can implode and self destruct.
Man, honestly, I really couldn't say it any better than I think he has a strong point that most of us never seen the option to express ourselves, and that self-destruction along with things around us is almost guaranteed.
Mhm. Sadly, man, brothers don't express what's going on with them until it's too late. And then, we get the exploding anger issues, you know what I mean? Relationship issues, personal problems, man. Yeah, it's bad business.
But the real question is, why do so many sorry, okay. But the real question is, why do so many men wait until golly, hold on, sorry. Why do men wait until everything's falling apart before they talk? Okay, thank you. Okay. But the real question is, why do men wait so long for everything to be falling apart before they talk?
We unpack what we can. Sharing the load. Break the room, break the mood. Yeah. Then we blaze a new road. See the patterns in the pain, change the process into progress. No bashing, just balance. This is Man Unpacked. Yeah, we come with.
Check in with your brother, not just reps, but regrets. Ask what's heavy on your heart, not how much you bench press. We rewrite the definition of strong from the roots. Soft voice, steady eye contact, that's unshakable.
We unpack what we can. Sharing the load. Break the room, break the room. Let me know. See the battles in the pain, change the process into progress. No passion, just balance. This is Man Unpacked. Yeah, we confess.
Alrighty, welcome back to Men Unpacked. Today we are talking about why men suppress their emotions so much, why they do it for so long, and what it costs us. Today we have myself, Jackson, and we have my guy, Coach Chris. Man,
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
man, it's a good day. It's a really good day. So let's start with the cost of emotional suppression. I mean, a lot of guys really carry these things silently for years. So what do you think? What do you think the emotional suppression actually costs men over time?
Mm, bro, honestly, it costs us a lot. It costs us our relationships, our friendships. It costs us, our peace, our mental health. And one thing that's not talked about enough, it costs us our physical health. And for me, man, when I was, suppressing my emotions and my feelings and things of that nature, bruh, I started to get a tight chest. Chest was getting tight. I was catching random headaches, blurred vision and things of that nature, man. It was crazy, bro. But, all of that stems from just, not being able to let me not say not being able to talk, because as men, we do have that option. We just need to accept that option. But holding things in, man, and not expressing when something is off, if something is wrong, uh, man, it's just best to go talk about it, whether it's with your wife, your fiance, your girlfriend, your parents, your homeboy, whatever, man, whatever's going on, holding things in, man, it causes so much physical harm, bro. When you think about like cancer, when you think
Mhm.
about like diabetes and stuff like that, sometimes we be linking that stuff to food. No, bro, it's your attitude, and you suppressing bad
Right.
emotions, man. Let that stuff out. But yeah, man, yep.
Man, I mean, obviously, you spoke about like the internal battle and how it comes out, how it shows itself in your health, man, but your mental health too, man. I mean, there's that constant battlefield on the inside. I this is something I'm working on today. Just when I think of a situation that happened in the past or something that I see coming in the future, and it's like, okay, how am I going to respond to that? And sometimes that goes negatively in my mind. No, you know what I'm saying? I should have, if it was gonna be a problem, I should have said something up front. Or if it's not a problem right now, then let it be. But regardless, that emotional suppression from back then, the things that I didn't unpack then are carrying themselves and still in my current future and into my thoughts. So man, it's just a really tough thing. But I was gonna ask you, so do you think men even realize that they're suppressing emotions? Or does it like just become normal to them?
It becomes normal, until we get enlightened, like you did. You know what I mean? You had your moments where, a younger Jackson, you kept things suppressed, and now you're older. Now you know how to, release, relax, relate, things of that nature. Um, bro, I feel like it just becomes normal because one, it's conditioning. We've been taught these things for so long, whether it's, through um, father figures, male figures. We picked up something out of a book, off of a movie, through our homeboys. It's like, don't talk about things. Silence is strong, and expressing yourself is weakness. And so conditioning now, there's normal. As we become adults, it's like, okay, it's normal to it's normal to suppress. It's normal to stay silent. So it's all through conditioning, man.
Oh yeah. Man, it's one of those things that I think, you know, we're all carrying this emotional backpack. Let's start from early grade school, right? We all got this backpack on, and eventually the books get heavy. You get more and more assignments tossed on you. Them pages are filling up, and it's really one of those things where you don't realize the weight of it. You just know to carry it. And eventually, man, it just kind of breaks you down from however you think you're carrying it. You start what's the word for it's almost like it's a limp that you develop over time, and then you
Mm.
start trying to like negotiate that limp, or like what is the word, I'm forgetting it right now, but pretty much you start favoring it and you start leaning to another side, and sometimes that can lead to a break. Most of the time eventually it's going to lead to a break. So I think that, yeah, it has become normal for most men, but you got to unpack that backpack, man. You just really do.
That's
But
dope. I like the comparison, and I can relate to that. Just recently, um, we've been getting some bad snowstorms up here in the Northeast, and with that comes snow, ice, and things like that. And I slipped and fell on some ice, and kind of jacked up my right knee.
mhm,
But as I'm healing, the other knee, the other end, it begins to overcompensate for what took place on the other end, bro. So you absolutely correct, man. Unless you get balance,
mhm.
you're just gonna continue to walk with that limb. So that's good. I agree with that right there.
So I guess a good follow up for you. What are signs that men ignore before reaching a breaking point? What are the things that, man, they let it slip by, they didn't catch it, or they just flat out said, "No, I'm tough enough. I don't need it. I can do it."
Well, it goes back to how we've normalized um, suppressing things. We normalize the breaking points. We normalize, we get into that point of rage and exploding like a volcano. Like we normalize these things, man. And
Mhm,
so, when we do get to that breaking point, bro, it's what it looks like. It doesn't always look like a man being broken, if that
mhm,
makes sense. Because what we have done is that because of the conditioning, we got so good at camouflaging when something is wrong with us. Like, okay, I'm depressed, I'm feeling bad, I'm angry, I'm pissed off, or whatever. I'm
mhm.
finna go pick up some overtime. I'm not finna go home and chill with
Yeah.
my family. I'm about to go, isolate myself, things like that. So when a man is reaching his breaking point, it doesn't look like he's broken. It
Mm,
looks like, but it looks like missed phone calls. It looks like him not coming home on time. It looks like him, not being around family and friends when, that's that man's nature. Like his
mhm,
first nature is, community. He loves being around his people. So if you see Chris, Coach Chris, if you see me, isolate myself, it's like, okay, something wrong with bro. I'm about to
Mm.
reach a breaking point because there's just so much going on right now, man. So yeah, when a man is reaching that breaking point, it doesn't always look like he's broken. You ain't gonna see tears. You ain't about to see him, um, wallow or whatever. Sometimes it's just that brother he's isolated, man. So yeah, it don't always look like it doesn't look like he's broken. It just look like he's strong. But sometimes it's like pay attention to them details.
You know what, Chris, man, you really said something right there, man. Between the camouflage and the overtime thing, that is perfect camouflage for someone who is avoiding rest because they probably weren't. They feel like they're not gonna find it anyway. Someone who is avoiding rest, yeah, man, that's you. Hold on, yeah, that's someone that's absolutely avoiding the warning signs. Man, no, I can keep going. I got it. But one of the things I probably have the best group of friends for this next part, man. When it comes down to it, my friends have always they found their things so early. They found their things so early, and it was one of the things where I didn't even check on them because it seemed like they was straight. They were
Hmm.
good,
Hmm.
man. But one of my best friends, man, actually a couple of my best friends, in recent years, man, we get older and we just start to feel things. If you start to pay attention to the signs, they'll show themselves. And man, my guy would just he would have a breakdown here and there, and it wouldn't even have to be much, but I could tell some of what was going on with him. So, man, have no strong friends, you really got to check on them too. Hold on. Hold on one second, guys. Give me a quick pause. I gotta charge this thing. When I so when I think about some of the guys who are trying to date, man, and they're not seeing the signs or they're simply ignoring the signs, man, the level of like irritability that I think is unfair for a lot of ladies to witness and a lot of ladies just simply experience. Like it's one thing to be dealing with a guy and he's healed or he's healing because at the very least he can tell where a scab still is. But man, if you're just covered in them, you might think that that's just how you are. No, man, you that's not your personality, man. You are still traumatized. You're still scabbed over. You're not healed. So it's one of those things I just really think it's unfair. And to take a moment to just, hey, okay, is this really how I want to be with this individual or to myself? And would I be proud of how I'm acting or reacting? I think that's an incredible step to just say to think about whether or not you're healed enough to be dating.
I dig it, bro. And you touched on something real good because 2026. I mean, it's been going on forever, but brothers like dating. You know what I mean? I get it. We like to. We have our moments where we need to pull back from the dating scene. But brothers is trying to date, get married, all of that good stuff. And then, I mean, that's just the reality. Whether it's healed or unhealed, it's just in our nature to seek, find a good woman, try to start a family and stuff like that. Salutes to the brothers that are healed and pursuing these things, but it's like sometimes it's kind of tough telling men, like the ones that are unhealed. It's like, bro, you need to go to the corner for a good year and you need to fix that stuff, man. But it's still that desire. So as a dating coach, as a dope dating coach, bro, like what are some like tips that you can give men that are like actively pursuing healing while they're trying to like date at the exact same time? Because you touched on something real good.
I think it's really important to find good role models, people that you admire, people that you want you want their results. You know, I think that's important because the thing is, most of us in our current form, there's a reason why we don't have the thing that we want. We're stuck wanting it. So finding the people who have it, you get opportunity to symbiotically great just kind of you get a little bit of whatever it is they have on them. You can kind of embody that. You can start to walk that way, talk that way, and that will help you bring in real in that thing that you actually want. Like you said, men are wanting to date, men are wanting to get married. Me personally, I want to be married. I want the family. So I surround myself and take advice from people who I admire who are doing the thing that I want to do. That is the very first step. Iron sharpens iron. If anyone really believes in brotherhood or fellowship, this is how you get that. This is how you get what you want. Talk to people who got it.
And see, here's the thing, bro. And what I'm hearing, what I'm picking up, what you putting down is that Get around people that can check your blind spots.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? And my own personal experience, yeah, I'm out here thinking I'm cool, I'm dope, I'm straight. But when you get around people that can check your blind spots, I
Mm-hmm.
remember it was a cool sister, and I liked her. You know what I mean? I was really feeling it. And I'm like, yo, let's do our thing. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Let's kick it. You feeling me? I'm feeling you. Um, but the closer she got to me, and this sister is like, dope. Like she's healed, mindset straight, making money, all of this good stuff, phenomenal mom. Um, she started peeping some things in me. She was like, yo, Chris, you got a savior complex, and it ain't cool. Yeah, it's cool to like, look out for people, but when you overgive, it comes off as like, yo, you're trying to like buy love, or you're trying to buy friendship and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so these things, I say that to say what you're saying is on point, bro. Like really get around a good brotherhood, get around people that can like check your blind spots because
Mm-hmm.
you don't know everything. I don't know everything. I thought I did, but I didn't. So absolutely, man. So yeah, I like that.
Man, actually, to kind of follow you up right there, I know for sure because I look at myself similarly. Like I like who I am. I like who I am. I like who I've became, and my folks they did a good job with me. But also, I can be a bit stern sometimes. I have some friends that are less stern. They have things that I want. And I'm like, oh, they're not. They don't. Yes, they have a standard. They have things that they uphold themselves, but they're not. They don't approach it the same way I approach it. And that means, so that sometimes that can be the difference between their results and someone, hey, it's all about
Mm,
how you say a thing, their results versus my results. Maybe I need to soften up a little bit. I
I
could,
like that.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
So now I definitely relate to what you're saying there.
that's dope. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I think that's, yep.
So, bro, let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed those signs in yourself before something escalated?
Short answer, yes, but it was only after disaster. It was only once everything broke that I finally catch on to what was actually happening. I've had to make phone calls before. I've had to vent before, but I thought that was regular stuff. And no, I was living in chaos. And then when chaos finally won, I was like, oh, I didn't realize how bad that was. I didn't realize how serious that could be. You got to get that, getting that chaos out of your life, simplifying things, man. I really think that that's one of those things that it builds you, it makes you stronger, but you create a better world for yourself.
That's dope. I love it, bro. And that I was gonna follow up with that. I do want to encourage men because they hear us talking. We're hearing words like chaos, and dudes would be like, dang, like I probably done reached the end of my rope or the end of the road. I'm like, nah, fam, like you good. Yeah,
Mhm.
you're gonna have some chaotic moments, but that doesn't mean that's the end of that doesn't mean that's the end of your life. So I do
Mhm.
want to encourage men like, yo, while you're going through the chaos, while you're making these mistakes, just learn from them. All these things, bro. We live in a human experience, man. And so for me personally, saying the exact same thing. There were moments where, I got sidetracked and stepped out of my identity and stepped out of, who I am as a person. Um, and, just caught, random folks, they caught a few strays, due to, me blowing up and, being anger,
Mhm.
having anger issues. But the beauty about all of that is that I started to learn myself as I gotten older. It's like, okay, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I
Mhm.
see how this affected this person, and I don't want that feeling again. I don't want them feeling bad, and I don't want to feel bad at the end of the day. If you're a good man, you have a good conscience, fam, you're gonna feel some type of sorrow and some type of sadness. And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, this isn't the right way to do things. So I'm like, yo, let me correct this. So I do want to encourage men, while you're going through your mess, it's a lesson. It's not the end of the world right there.
Mhm.
So, what actually happens mentally when a man suppresses emotions for years?
That one, you know, it's hard to. I really think of it like if you let a car sit too long, you let it sit too long, you don't run it, the tires go down, the oil gets stiff, what I'm saying? Everything dries up in there and it's hard to start it back up, man. And emotionally, we do the same thing. We start putting walls up. we start stiffening up into whatever form we think protects us. And that form honestly fails us because we are human, we are fluid individuals, and we experience things that simply one form just doesn't, it's not suited to deal with all of life's ups and downs. So I think ultimately, before before someone breaks, after those years of suppression, those years before they burst in probably a bad way, there aren't many ways that there aren't many times that goes well. I think pretty much, man, that's exactly what you get. You just get that
Mm,
that mental suppression. You get those walls built up, and eventually those walls will break. Either you take them down brick by brick, and yes, that's going to be work, or it's going to break.
mm. Bro, you reach a burnout phase pretty much.
Hmm.
Yeah, you reach a burnout phase. And a lot of men deal with that. A lot of men deal with that. We got to normalize that. Yo, it's in our own benefit to talk these things out, to release and decompress and
Hmm.
stuff like that. Like let these things out, and I'm gonna always go back. I mean, I know this example gets worn out, but I'm gonna always go back to a volcano when that pressure starts building up and you just explode. That's how it goes sometimes with us men, man, and that's when the burnout takes place.
Hmm.
Mentally, physically, yo, you just exhausted and you don't even have no desire to live life anymore, man. Burnout is real. So it's like, brothers, take your time out here. Look out for you. We got to normalize that it's not selfish to look out for you. Yes, take care of your family, look out for your peeps, look out for your community. But one thing a wise man told me, he was like, yo, the community, your family is never good unless you're good. So if you don't take time out for you, if you don't work on your mental health, if you don't work on your physical health, if you don't work on your own happiness,
Oh yeah,
you got to normalize these things, man. Like it's okay for you to go do some things for you, fam.
yeah.
Whatever, if it's a homeboys trip, if it's going to go hoop with the fellas, if it's going to go get a massage, whatever, you go do your thing. Go buy a nice watch, go buy a new fitted hat, something that's for you.
Something.
So yeah, something, bro. Do something for you. You work hard. Definitely, exercise that right as far as like treating yourself and pulling in some joy. But yeah, man, these burnout is real. We got to look out for ourselves, bro.
Man, it's something you said there, man. Like it has to be built in. Your happiness has to be a part of the equation. It's a part of the budget, the emotional budget in the relationship, bro. I really think that's huge. Don't let, don't build the budget of your relationship just so everyone else is happy. My grandma did it. I watched plenty of people do
Mm,
it just in my life, and it's like, nah, we got to celebrate you too. That's, you can't just let your favorite restaurant go because everybody else got a favorite too. No, man, serve yourself as we serve, and and we are to be served. That's just what it's like to, and to be human in this life. That's what it's supposed to be, in my opinion. But I guess the next question is, why do so many men wait until they're at their breaking point before they talk?
mm. Man, just because it's what we used to. It's
Hmm.
what we used to. We done said it before already, bro. It's like when you condition, we wait to the very last minute, or we wait until, like you say, we reach that chaotic moment where things start spilling out. It's like, why we wait so long?
Hmm.
We just got to normalize, our healing. We got to normalize, like, yo, it's okay to talk these things out when something come up. You know, Express it right then and there at the moment. I used
Hmm.
to be, bro. Was I was about to say I was bad at it, but I used to be good at sweeping things under the rug.
Hmm.
I'm like, yo, I got this going on. I'm like, okay, it's all good. Let me just brush it off. Like Jay-Z said, brush it, and, get that dirt
Hmm.
off your shoulder. But I'm like, bro, that doesn't work. It might work for a minute, but it doesn't work long term. You feel me? You, the longer you hold these things in, bro, you just gonna collapse at the end of the day, man. And God forbid that, I hear about men, catching heart attacks. Because, bro, you keeping all that stress and that depression and that
Hmm.
anger built up, man. You got so much going on in your life. You ain't taking
Hmm.
time out for yourself. So we wait for so long just based off of conditioning, man. We really gotta normalize, like, yo, it's okay to talk.
Hmm.
And once we get that, we start cultivating that community, cultivating that atmosphere and that mindset, like, yo, it's okay to talk, bro. We're gonna be better off. I envy, in a good way, I envy our sisters because they're very good at that. They're good
Hmm.
at getting with sisterhood and getting in the community and talking things out and leaving out happy and joyful, and it's all rainbows and sunshine. I'm like, yo, I want some of that too, man. It's like, how do I get it? We get it by talking, man.
Man, you know what, bro? As right as you are, that the speaking part is definitely important because that's a start for men. Women also often use is what do they call it? They call it cathartic for women because they can get together and they talk about things and it really helps them to voice those things. But men, and I imagine you're just like I am, we can have a conversation about whatever it is. But at the end of that conversation, it's gonna be about action, plan. What can we do to change the outcome? And that's where I think a lot of guys would benefit from just trying to talk about it, just trying to talk about the thing. For me, man, one of the biggest things, and I'll never forget this because it's one of the most pivotal moments in my life. I stayed silent way too long, just in my previous relationship, man. Um, our early phase of our relationship, there were plenty of things that happened that I just didn't say anything about. But we were weekend lovers. We were trying to be together, but also we only seen each other on the weekend. And you can tolerate a lot of stuff when you got 5 days in between. I ain't got to say nothing about this.
Yeah,
I'll let it
yeah,
go before next weekend.
yeah.
But when them circumstances change, and all of a sudden the instances of the thing that you're dealing with is now more. Well, can you let it go then? Can you let it go in 30
Mm.
minutes? 'Cause it's about to happen again. It's not fair to you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to say those things early, and it can really start to change the shape of you in your relationship because now you are living in an annoyance that person wasn't used to. They've been doing the same thing they always did,
Yeah,
and it's not
yeah,
fair to them that you didn't say nothing. It wasn't
yeah.
fair to her that I didn't say anything.
Bruh, I love conversations like this, man, because we get the flowing and we get the moving and grooving because the thoughts, get the going, man. And I'm glad we got a dating coach here. Bro, and this is my experience, I kind of picked some things up along the way. Um, what men don't realize is that, when we get with women, and we get into this place of not expressing,
Hmm.
not telling them what's going on with us, not talking to our ladies, you know what I mean? Yeah, we could talk about, how was your day, but that surface stuff. But these women, when they care for you, they really want to know, like, hey, what's going on with you and how can I help you?
Hmm.
We strip women, or we strip that like that wifehood, or
Hmm.
that when women want to come in and like take care of us and look out for us, we strip that away from these women when we get into that place of being a macho man. Like, I ain't about to talk about my feelings. Don't do that. The one of the things I picked up with what you just said, when you was giving your spiel, was it's not fair to the other person.
Hmm.
It is not fair to a woman to strip her of, not to be, I don't want to come off like, too manly, but strip her of her duty.
Hmm.
When a woman gets in a relationship with a man, she really care for you. She gonna love you. She gonna look
She
out for
wants
you,
to
man.
do those
Yeah, she
things.
wants to. And we got to allow women to actually do that and feel that and actually fulfill that role. And that starts with us opening up and like honestly being vulnerable with the women that we're dating, that we're courting, and that we're married to, man.
Hmm.
So thank you for that, bro. That was
Oh
good.
yeah, bro. Yeah, thank you, bro. Okay.
Hold on real quick.
Take your time.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
All right. So man, while we're flowing, bro, it's something that I do want to touch on because it kind of, it sparked my interest. Um, a warning sign that I ignored longer than I should have was honestly, man, when my health started to go downhill.
Mm.
And I'm a young man too.
Mhm.
And I'm young, bro. When I was going through my stuff, man, it was, 36, 37 or whatever. That's young. You shouldn't be dealing with no, health complications, like, tight chests and, irregular, heart movement and stuff like that. And I ate pretty well. That's
Mhm.
what threw me off. I'm like, I'm exercising, I'm doing my thing, I'm running, I'm walking, cardio is on point, lifting weights is like, yo, what's all of this? Um, that's a sign that I ignored way too long.
Mhm.
And I shouldn't have did that. The physical health of everything, man. Another sign was, bro, I just wasn't happy. I just wasn't happy, man. You know, you and a man knows when he's not happy. One
Mhm.
thing about us, and I think this was another thing that was, you know, placed in us, you know, our grandfathers or fathers or whatever, man, like it's been instilled in us to, you know, complete our obligations, and that's
Mhm.
cool. But it's also to a degree, because you don't want to do it to the point where now you about to go to the grave early.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, man, I just wasn't happy, bro. And I was in a place of unhappiness, and I didn't check that. And I should have did something about that way, way, way sooner, man. Till it got to the point, like you say, you know, just living in chaos. And now I'm
Mhm.
snapping and blowing up at everybody, bro. Nah, nah.
Man, yeah, I definitely know what you mean, especially on the dutiful aspect of just being a man. You give up on happiness. You give up on happiness because happiness has nothing to do with the job that I have to do, because we do it regardless. You know what I'm saying? Being happy is not going to stop me from clocking in. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not I was happy that day is not going to stop me from clocking in. But I would definitely say the one warning sign that I ignored longer than I should have was the stirring of emotions and allowing the things that wouldn't go away. If it won't go away, it's time to talk about it. It ain't got to be clean. It can be messy. Just say it, man. The mental battles, man. Your blood pressure going up, and nobody knows it but you. It's not fair. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to the next person. Because if they really care about you, they want you to stick around. And the resentment or whatever else is winding up with those thoughts, it's not fair to either one of you. And that's one of the warning signs that I would absolutely I will pay attention to that one first. So let us know in the comments. So I guess audience, let us know in the comments. What's one warning sign that what's one sign that sorry, what's one sign? Yeah. So audience, so let us know in the comments. What's one sign that you've learned not to ignore anymore? What was the thing? How did it happen? And when did you learn to just finally speak up? Okay. So if this conversation resonated with you, let us know in the comments. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and go watch the previous episodes. They're actually pretty good as well. Men Unpacked, we do this every oh my gosh, we're posting them two at a time. That's not necessary. but um as we can make sure to watch these previous episodes of Men Unpacked as we continue unpacking these conversations. So I'm Jackson. I'm a dating coach. You can catch me at Odes Jackson on Instagram, on TikTok. That's my email as well, Gmail as well. Yeah, if you have any questions, Q&A stuff, whatever it is, just hit me up. I'm here, available and ready to talk.
What's up, good peoples? I'm Coach Chris. I do pray you guys got something out of this. Um, you can find me at IG at lifecoach_Chris, Facebook, Christopher Henson, LinkedIn as well, Christopher Henson, man. Love y'all.